The new community in the prime location is only selling at 1,200 square meters, and even the renovated houses are less than 100,000 yuan. What kind of community is this? Today's story comes from a netizen who wishes to remain anonymous. Let's call him Qiangzi. Near a train station in a city in the northeast, a shantytown was transformed into a community. Initially, due to some irregularities in the demolition methods, coupled with the early age of the demolition, these people were very dissatisfied at first. The developer promised that after the houses were built, the welfare gardens and greening for each household of the original residents and many other things were not fulfilled. As a result, there were many conflicts between the people and the developer. After the houses were built, conflicts occurred frequently. Qiangzi worked in this company, and some people organized discussions, which eventually led to conflicts. At that time, the boss of the development company asked the person in charge of the demolition to stay in the company in the name of safety. In fact, they were local thugs. During the conflict, ordinary people naturally could not take advantage of this conflict, and an old man was knocked down and his head was bleeding. After standing up, the old man did not shout or make trouble, he had no expression on his face, turned around and left. Later it was learned that the old man's family had lived on that land for several generations, and the old man was quite prestigious among the demolition households, and the local residents respected him very much. When the residents negotiated with the developer many times, this old man was the representative. When the development company inquired about the old man's situation, they also received another message, saying that the old man knew some things similar to witchcraft, but no one took it seriously. After the conflict, about a week later, someone complained that the old man was burning paper in the corridor on the first floor of the building where he lived. Burning paper in high-rise residential buildings is not allowed, and the property management stopped it and took photos. The old man was burning paper in an iron basin, and there was a small table in the corridor with a piece of red paper in the middle, on which a few unknown words were written with black ink, looking like Fu Lu. The property company of this community was a property company designated by the developer from Shenyang, and the two companies were very familiar with each other. The old man asked the property management staff at that time, "How is your developer's boss now?" The old man didn't understand what it meant at that time, although some people speculated that he might be trying to curse the boss of the development company. No one took it seriously. Another half a month later, the development company was a partnership between two bosses. One of the partners went to jail because of a lawsuit. Qiangzi didn't know what the specific crime was. Then, the company dismissed the security team composed of idle people in society, and this security team was replaced by several old men in their 50s. As for these things, everyone felt that there was no problem, it was just a coincidence, and even no one connected these coincidences with the old man. As a result, not long after, the other boss of the development company personally asked the property company to join the street office, including himself to go to the old man's building to clean up the old man's table in the name of fire safety. At that time, Qiangzi also went to the scene and found that there was still that red paper with the black characters that were not understandable on the table, and there was something about the size of a thumb in the middle of this table. What is it? He didn't know either. Then, when everyone was ready to dismantle this table, the old man came out and stood in front, not letting them dismantle it. Because the old man and the developer had a bad relationship, the hatred value was relatively high. So the more he stopped, the more people wanted to dismantle it. Qiangzi had seen this old man no less than 20 times, but this was the first time he saw the old man so anxious and panicked. At that time, the old man negotiated with everyone in a pleading tone, saying that he could give him one day. He promised that this table would definitely not be here the next day. He only had one request, to give him one day to deal with it. But how could those staff listen to him? And the big boss also came to the scene in person. Many people wanted to show off, so someone grabbed the old man, and others took away the table and threw it away. This matter was torn and thrown away on the spot, just like the thumb-size thing, which was also smashed directly. After all this was done, the old man let go, and the old man fell to the ground directly, saying in his mouth, "Now we have all finished." After this matter, the community did not stop. At first, some owners reported that most of the induction lights in the corridor were out of order, and it was not easy to repair and replace them. Later, some owners reported that the community always heard a woman singing at night, and then their elevators always opened inexplicably, and no one pressed the floor. Later, even more bizarre things happened, and someone in the community jumped off the building. Why is it said that jumping off the building is bizarre? For example, this young couple said it was normal. At first, they quarreled. The person suddenly went to the window like crazy, opened the window and jumped down. A few days later, another family lived together with a mother and son. One day, the mother said it was normal to go downstairs for a walk. No problem. There was no conflict between the mother and son. As a result, the mother went out and directly went to the top floor and jumped down. Then, there was another family, an old man with lower limb paralysis living alone. He had problems with his movements, and he jumped down from more than 30 floors. And the old man's children were very filial. Although the old man was disabled, someone took care of him, so he didn't know why he chose to commit suicide. Since then, there have been at least 5 people jumping off the building in this community every year. Hearing a woman singing in the middle of the night and seeing women and children hanging around at night too much, everyone is scared, so many people have moved away. Before that, the old man jumped off the building inexplicably the second year. He said that after waking up in the middle of the night, he told his wife to go to the bathroom. As a result, he jumped up directly. Then the business of this development company was not good either. Although the other boss said he was still alive, he was diagnosed with late-stage cancer and only had half a life left. In order to prevent the housing prices in this community from continuing to fall, the boss has always not let me say, but the housing prices in this community have already fallen to the point where they can no longer fall. The house prices across from the train station, the new building is 1,200 square meters, and many well-renovated houses are about 100,000 yuan. Until today, the story of this community is still happening. Qiangzi also left that company, and later had dinner with his old leader and talked about this matter. After drinking, the old leader said such a situation. At that time, the 2 bosses of the development company, one of them was turned over because of something that happened more than 10 years ago, and was labeled with a black hat, so he went in, and the security was changed. What about the other boss? During that period, he always had nightmares, and he was pressed by the bed during the day, so he found someone to see him. That person said that someone was messing with them, and they just needed to talk to that person and take away the things, and this matter would naturally be solved. As a result, the boss used a gun to let the old man's things out, and there was no restraint. In fact, the boss privately found many people to deal with it, but no one could solve it. So, brothers, keep a line when you are a person. Well, see you in the next story.